909 in Studio is brought to you by 90.9 The Bridge in Kansas City. To find out how you can become a sustaining member or to donate, go to bridge909.org. We're really excited today to welcome in Nicki Bluhm. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Congratulations on the new album, To Rise You Gotta Fall. It feels like a really important record to you.
Thanks. Yeah, it certainly is an encapsulation of the last few years of my life, for better or worse. But it feels good to kind of take that story and put it into songs and be able to play them live for people all over. It's been real nice.
Yeah. So you're playing tonight at Knuckleheads. Gil Landry, formerly of Old Crow Medicine, show opens. It's got to be a fun bill.
It is. It's great. We've been on the road with Gil for the last couple weeks, and his songs are great. The lines in his songs are really remarkable, and we've been having a good time.
Yeah. You know, I love the beginning of your career. I read one interview where you basically said that you started off playing to your goldfish.
Yeah, that's true.
And if he doesn't applaud, there's really not any emotional damage because he can't.
Right. I mean, I guess she could have done something with her flippers or something.
Yeah. So, and then on to college. You got your first guitar at 17, and would occasionally perform at parties. But there's alcohol involved, so again, it sort of softens the pressure of performance.
Yes, very true.
So eventually, you got talked into becoming a performer, and I think that the thing that interests me the most about that is just that choice to step away from the sort of more ordinary life that you've been building. You were working with horses and teaching. That had to be a leap of faith.
It was. I had a lot of encouragement, which was helpful. And my family really supported me, and they still do. So I think that's like a scary step for anybody to take if you're an artist and you're wanting to kind of get out of, the safety of tradition and then stepping into your art. It's all-encompassing, and you have to have so much faith in yourself, and you have to constantly kind of check your ego, but it's really rewarding because you get to live the life that you choose, and so far that's been a good choice for me.
Yeah. I should probably apologize talking about playing for your goldfish because it kind of diminishes who you are, but I think you always kind of knew that it was what you wanted to do. You used to multi-track yourself singing harmony over yourself on a little cassette deck.
I did. You really did your research. Yeah. I did. That was kind of a really exciting thing when I figured out, like the tape decks, and you could have 2 tapes in it, and you could play your tape and then press record and play at the same time and record over it. And I spent hours doing that in my bathroom, which is where my goldfish lived. So that's kind of full circle. Yeah.
So you finally make the decision to go down this road. You form Nicki Bluhm and the Gramblers, and the oddity of that was the van video that you did.
Yeah.
Covering I Can Go For That. The Hall & Oates track. I checked last night. It's up to 3.6 million views.
Which is like nothing these days. Now a viral video is like 20 million.
That's
that was back in the olden days.
3.6 is still pretty good, But did John Oates responded to that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Many people did. It was interesting, like the reaction that people got from that. I think it was just a lot of nostalgia. We ended up doing like 30 van sessions, all songs from our childhood that just kind of like struck a nostalgic chord in all of us, and it seemed to do the same across the board for a lot of people.
Well, cool. The thing to me that there were a couple, 3 things that stuck out to me about it, and one of them was it's a great vocal performance while you're driving.
Yeah, people are always shocked by that, but doesn't everybody sing in the car?
Yeah, but does everybody rock the kazoo? That's you know.
I mean, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. So did you have conversations about, well, we should wait until we're out on the interstate when the traffic is low, or?
We didn't really think about it No. I mean, we were touring show to show, so we had plenty of time to do stuff.
So rock stars living on the edge. The kazoo comes out any time.
Yeah, just...
Yeah.
We had to make a stop at a Party City. I remember that. We needed a kazoo.
Well, we are so excited to have you in the studio, and we'd love to hear you perform.
Thanks. Yeah, we're going to do some songs off the new record. I brought my friends from Nashville, and we're going to do a song called Battlechain Rose.
Miles in my head. I hadn't been on your side in a very long time, and the wind in your heart hadn't blown you to mine. I am two shades of blue from a Battlechain rose. I'm as blue as the sky the night before the storm wind blows. I'm as broken and bruised as a Battlechain rose. Watch my petals hit the ground, scatter in the snow. Carry me to safety, Battlechain rose. 3 a.m. I dreamt in the middle of the bed of the hemlock hanging in the garden where we wed. You smiled through the sunlight, taking my hand. Then you shattered like glass and blew away like grains of sand. And I am two shades of blue from a Battlechain rose. I'm as blue as the sky the night before the storm wind blows. I'm as broken and bruised as a Battlechain rose. Watch my petals hit the ground, scatter in the snow. Hold you, carry me to safety, Battlechain rose.
Nicki Bluhm in our studios performing live today. That was absolutely great. That's a co-write with Ryan Adams.
Yes.
You know, he's one of our favorites, and he's fairly enigmatic. You know, I just his love of heavy metal, and he's sort of all over the road, but what a talented guy. It
He
must
is.
be an unusual experience to have a collaboration with someone like him.
Yeah, it was very spontaneous and could never be repeated. He's definitely an interesting person to watch in his element of writing. I feel fortunate to have experienced it and do more with him.
You know, speaking of collaborations, you've had some crazy ones. You grew up in the Bay Area, and you had a 10-year-old, a brother who's 10 years older. So naturally, he was going to introduce you to the Grateful Dead.
Yes, yeah.
And you've ended up playing quite a bit with Phil Lesh.
I have. I've been really fortunate in that way. He opened Terrapin Crossroads, which is his restaurant and venue, and he asked me to be a part of the opening week of that, and that kind of started a long relationship of playing together and a lot of different formats. His most recent thing right now is the Terrapin Family Band, and they'll ask me to come and sing with them every now and then, and it's always a real pleasure to get to be a part of that.
You perform with Bob Weir as well.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool perk of being a Bay Area resident, which I'm not anymore. I moved to Nashville,
Yeah.
so hopefully they'll remember me.
Your brother probably lost it a little bit.
My brother plays it pretty cool. Like, he would never lead on that he's like impressed, but I know he's got to be because he
Yeah.
loves the Grateful Dead.
Another Bay Area band, Jefferson Airplane. You actually did a Jefferson Airplane tribute with the Dirty Dozen Brass Band.
We did, yeah, at Monterey Pop. That was really cool. That was a couple summers ago. I love Grace Slick, and actually Warren Haynes was the one. I was playing some shows with them, and he was like, "You should sing this song," and I was like, "Okay." And I remember I did it first with Government Mule, and after like that performance with that like big massive band behind me, and then like belting that song, I was like, "This is rad," and then I just kept doing it. It's a great song.
You've also worked with Amy Helm.
Love her.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
had a 10-piece all-female band.
Yes, Skylark. That was really an incredible thing. So many talented women. Carolyn Wonderland, Shelley King, Cindy Cash Dollar. Like, the list goes on. We were all joking around one night on that tour. We were, traveling from show to show, and we stopped at one of the gas stations, and we were all like in the bathroom, like, "Do you have any chapstick? Do you have any lipstick?" And everybody was like, "This is the sorority we always wanted to be in." Oh my gosh. It was really special. It was really special to just be around that many women and kind of be insulated in that way, all performing together. It was special.
Yeah. You know, the Avid Brothers, you've performed with them as well?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Gosh, I barely remember that.
Yeah. It's going to be a great show tonight. Nicki Bluhm at Knuckleheads. Gil Landry is opening up the show. The new album, To Rise You Gotta Fall, is out, and I'm sure it'll be at the merch table tonight. And
Yep.
we'll talk a little bit about that album when we come back, but we'd love to have another song if we could.
Sure, we're going to do another one off that record. It's called You Can't Fool the Fool.
I'm sick while I wait, so I try to concentrate on the words. The ashes in my heart show the remnants of our world.
pretty great. Thanks for doing that. Nicki Bluhm in our studios today. The new album, which is similarly great, To Rise You Gotta Fall, performing tonight at Knuckleheads. You made reference to your friends from Nashville.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce the band?
I would. Jeff Adamchuk is playing keys and singing. Lemuel Hayes is playing the drums. Cameron Karras is on the bass. And John McNally's playing guitar and singing. And he'll be playing pedal steel tonight, too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So this was sort of like you kind of wanted a totally fresh start
Yeah.
this time around. And, you know, if you want to just shorten this down, it's sort of like get divorced, move to Nashville, make the record, right?
Yeah. Get a new band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of change, a lot of transition in a very, very short amount of time. Which, you know, I think being like human willpower is so, just humans are really incredible. Like when I look back at all of that I did, and I really didn't think that hard about it. It was just like, I knew that I needed to take these steps of, you know, moving and making a record and touring and finding people that I was inspired by to play with. And it's interesting now at the tail end of this year and like tapering down. This is the last shows of the year on this record. I like lift my head up and I'm like, oh, I can see how far I've come. You know, it's a really tough business to be in, but it's also really rewarding when you can kind of persevere and get through it and do it with some dignity and grace.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's I know it's got to be hard to take all of that change and have a lot of it be reflected in the songs. For you, it had to be therapy, but it also is like service to others.
Totally. Well, yeah, that's the idea, right? I mean, I know that for me, music, and I think for many people, music is just such a medicine, and something that, you know, reminds you that you're not alone in the world. And, you know, there's so many songs written about heartache. It's almost like a boring topic, but at the same time it's not, because it happens in every lifetime, in every decade, in every person, you know, and I think it's an important thing to talk about, and as we evolve, maybe we can start to like figure things out a little bit more, you know, like, so yes, at this point, my experience and what I've put into songs, the only reason that I put it out was to try to help other people going through the same thing. So yeah, at this point, it does kind of feel like service work. It's like, and I'll talk to people after the show, you know, at the merch table or whatever, with tears in their eyes, and they're just like, there's so much gratitude for, you know, writing about challenging topics and challenging things, and heartbreak just doesn't ever go out of style, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, the fresh start, you know, you're in Nashville and, you know, there's musicians everywhere and there's studios everywhere. So you went to Memphis.
Yeah.
I can't really figure that one out quite yet. But
Well, I didn't know I was going to move to Nashville when I was in Memphis. I went to Nashville on a couple writing trips, and I stayed at a friend's house in this really amazing neighborhood in Nashville, and it was spring and everything was like in bloom and the weather was perfect, and I was like going to write these songs. In Nashville, it's very incredibly common. It's an industry, songwriting. So you can set up appointments and you go and you sit in a room with somebody and you write. And I had never experienced that before. And the like type A, like the A side of my brain was just like, oh my gosh, I can like make an appointment and go sing and write, and then like it's like a free therapy session. So like I loved that about Nashville. And one restless night I was just like laying there and I was like, I'm just gonna look and see what's available living wise. And I found this incredible place to live, and it was just, I didn't think too much about it. I was on a plane home and I had already committed to moving there. And I just remember I called my dad and he's like, well, go for it. What do you have to lose? But I recorded in Memphis because I wanted to work with Matt Rossbang, who is somebody I met through a friend in California who's an engineer named John Botchgloopy. He has a studio in Stinson Beach, and he wanted to bring Matt out to California. And I was like, well, I've already made a record at Stinson. I want to record somewhere else, and I want to do it with all new people, which is why I went to Memphis. And just Sam Phillip Recording Services, that studio hasn't been touched at all. It's like, I think it was like 1958 that studio was built, maybe something like that. And it still looks the same, and Matt's doing a lot to like restore it and get all the old gear back. And it was built to be a studio, so there's no like manipulating in an artificial way. Just the room, the way the room sounds is, you know, it's just a very natural place to make music, and I really wanted that. I didn't want to overthink it. I just wanted to go into a room and sing the songs with talented people. Let Matt choose all the musicians. They're all Memphis guys except one Nashville guy on drums. But yeah, it just, again, I didn't think too hard about it. I just kind of like went with the path of least resistance.
So you had all these songs that were really important to you, and you're going into a studio to play them with musicians you've never worked with, never even met.
Yeah.
And you tracked it in 5 days?
Yep, we did. I stayed longer to do some overdubs, but everything is live. I mean, all the vocal takes I sang live, which was interesting. I wasn't expecting to do that, but when you go into a room and you have these songs that the musicians really have never heard, and I was in the vocal booth, I was going to sing scratch, but then I realized, like, I needed to sing for real to help them understand the arc of the song and where I wanted it to get big and where I wanted it to pull back. And it ended up being this really cool thing. I had a straight line of sight to the drummer, and he's an incredible guy. His name's Ken Coomer. He's actually how I met Lemmy and Jeff. And he really listens to the lyrics. And so he'll, you know, playing off of each other was just such a cool experience for me. And then the guys in the studio, they've been playing together for a lot of years, so they have their own way of communicating. But it worked, and I trusted Matt, and I knew that I was going to get quality, and I wasn't worried about the spontaneity of it all. I was really excited to just try something new and not, you know, go in knowing like how someone's going to react before they even do it. You know, when you're with people for so long, for so many years, like I was with the Gramblers for 8 years, it's like I know what they're going to say before they even say it. And I wanted to get away from that. I just wanted sort of like this clean slate of, you know, the only baggage coming in is the words on the page, and then everything else is fresh.
So you talked about the arc of the song. I was curious if, I mean, this album has songs of, you know, lost love and all the emotions that go with that, and then it also has the healing. So did you create a story arc through the order that you put the songs in?
You know, I kind of tried to. The songs were really written over like a period of 2 years, and it was the demise of my marriage. And, you know, I wanted it to flow sonically. So, you know, the first song on the record is How Do I Love You, and that was one of the earlier ones that I had written. And that was like, I was very in the mindset of like, how do I make this marriage work? And that felt like an appropriate song to put first. But I wouldn't say that the sequence is, it wasn't delivered exactly in the order in which the songs were written, no.
There's a cover song on there from Dan Penn.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And after you recorded it, you got to meet not only Dan, but his wife.
I did, yeah. I actually told that story last night. Yeah, it was cool. The song's called I Hate You, which before I even heard it, I was like, yes, that's the song that I want to put on it. And my friend AJ Croce was having his album release show, and Dan was there because Dan produced AJ's record. And I ended up meeting him and his wife, and he said, I heard you put my song on your record. And I said, I did. And I said, you know, I got such a hard time about it from my management. They didn't want me to put it on the record. And his wife pipes up and she goes, well, why? That's just such a good song. She goes, he doesn't say I hate you. He says, I'm trying to hate you. And I should know because it's about me. And I was like, that is the cutest story ever. You just reconfirmed why I put it on the record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was cool timing. That was the thing about Nashville, those moments like that, which happen all the time there, I'm sure, but that was like one of my first cool moments in Nashville where it was like, this place is small. And you do get to meet your heroes. This is pretty cool.
You also had a co-writing session where you were expressing concern about whether or not you were giving up too much information.
Oh, yeah.
And Simon, who you were co-writing
Yeah.
with, had words of wisdom.
He did, yeah. That was an interesting thing. That was Simon Gugela. He's a great person and songwriter. We really got on well. But yeah, I was just driving over to his place, and you always want to come to a writing session with some nugget, whether it's like musical or lyrical or whatever. And I was just driving over there, and I had this line in my head like, "Why was I the last to know?" And I showed up, and I had just met him. I think this was maybe the second song we'd written together. And I'm like, I just want to write a song called "Why Was I the Last to Know?" And he's like, okay, well, tell me more about that. And I was like, well, this might be TMI. And he's like, honey, you're in Nashville now. There's no such thing as TMI. And we ended up writing that song, which was about a really painful topic of just like, betrayal.
Right.
And I felt so much better when that song was completed. It felt like I had made progress, like in my heart and mentally. And that was one of those experiences in songwriting where I just had so much overwhelming gratitude for the healing power that writing has. So, yeah. I mean, turns out there is such thing as TMI in Nashville because it's so small. You kind of do have to watch it, P's and Q's.
But for that one moment in time.
For the one moment.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable, it was a good lesson. It was a good reminder that being vulnerable is actually really powerful.
Well, I'm sure that the last 2 or 3 years have been difficult at times, but thank you for sharing, and thanks for the gift of the album. It's really great. It's brilliant. To Rise, You Gotta Fall, Nicki Bluhm. Tonight at Knuckleheads, and also Gil Landry, formerly of Old Crow Medicine Show, on the bill. So it should be a good time. We'd love to have one more song if we could.
Yeah, we're going to do the title track. And thank you for caring about the record. I appreciate it.
Bring right there on the floor. She said, girl, you best not cry any longer. Life is cruel and it just gets harder, but what doesn't kill you makes your story longer. Oh, she said, how can you know good until you know better? Oh, if you're looking for love, get ready to get hurt. Oh, life's a hurricane, but the magic's but remains. Ain't no rainbow without a little rain. Oh, how can you know good until you know better? Tell me, if I knew what I know, now I'd write me a letter saying you can't win no more. Let it rise, you gotta fall. Let it rise, you gotta fall. To rise, you gotta fall. Ooh, yeah. Hey, rise, you got to fall. Rise, you got to fall. Rise, you got to fall. Rise, you got to fall.
Nicki Bluhm and her band in the Bridge Studios today. That was just great. I love the unexpected lyric. You know, it's like you're expecting that which does not kill us makes us stronger, but instead it makes the story longer. For a storyteller, it's pretty appropriate.
Yeah, it's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, we really appreciate you and the band coming in here. We know that being on the road is not easy. It's tough to make it town to town, show to show, and to take extra time out of your day to come in here and perform for us is such a gift, and we appreciate it greatly.
Well, thank you. We enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having us. And
Nicki Bluhm.
thank you for your support.
Yeah,
Means
and
a
of
lot.
course, the show tonight at Knuckleheads with Gil Landry, new album, To Rise You Gotta Fall, Nicki Bluhm, live today in the Bridge Studios.